Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Selectman Frank Gracie, and I've been asked to run this Zoom meeting for the benefit of restaurants in town that are in the process of wanting to reopen. I will first tell you that the town is very supportive of you folks all being able to get back to business. The support is in line with that, and I certainly am in line with that. What we want is for it to be done safely and correctly so that we don't cause any more damage than we're allegedly fixing. So the process, the state, I'll start with what the state did. The state pretty much opened the ability to do this. Unfortunately, there weren't a whole lot of help in helping us with how to actually set requirements and regulations. All they said was they're leaving it up to the local authorities. I have been designated the approval authority for Dartmouth, so my signature is required on applications. Christine in the select board office is the licensing person. All applications will go through her. She will review them to make sure they're complete, and then they'll be passed on to me. The applications require signatures besides mine before it actually gets to me from the police chief, from the fire chief of your particular district. As you know, there are 3 fire districts in town, so there could be 3 different signatures depending on where you are. The Board of Health, the Director of Board of Health, Chris Michaud, is one of the signees, as is the Zoning Enforcement Officer, Dave Requena. So with that, we'll get started. I want this to be an informational session so that you folks can learn everything you need to learn, and questions are certainly welcome. I would like the people that are responsible for the inspection, I don't want to say total inspections, but for the approvals, to possibly say a few words on what they want in the plan, because the plan is important. And I guess I'll start that with Fire District 3, Chief Arruda, if you would, if you'd like to say a few words on what you expect to see in the plan and what you're looking for.
Sure. Good afternoon. Thanks. We submitted a couple of documents. Are you going to share those documents on this Zoom today?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Okay. Maybe we can share them later on, or put them up at any time. So for the fire service, there's a couple documents that we go by. If you're putting a tent up, there's tent regulations. There's a permit obviously required through the building inspector. And the fire service would inspect the tent on that building permit. And these are the things in this document that we look for. That's standard. That's not any different than we do a tent any time of year. The second one is just a few bullet points about whether you're placing a tent or you're going to apply for outdoor seating. The fire department has some access requirements in the codes to allow the fire department and fire trucks to access the building for firefighting if there was ever a fire in the restaurant. So here's some bullet items of things that the fire service is going to be looking for. If you're going to do outside seating, these are the things that we're going to be inspecting for to make sure that we still have some access to the building, that we could actually fight a fire in the building and get people away from the building. So these things are kind of they're very specific depending on the building and the types of fire protection systems you have in the building. So if there's any questions at all, call the fire department, the fire chief come out and meet with you on site. We'll look at those together while you're doing your plan. We're happy to do that at any moment.
Thank you, Chief Arruda. Appreciate that. Perhaps we should go next to Deputy Chief Jim Story. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. We are tasked with two portions of the approval. The alcohol side, Ryan Mitchell goes through, and the safety side, Joe Vera reviews. One ask. Discrepancies about who should do what. I think we've worked through those. I think we're getting better at it, and our mission is to approve as many applications as we can. We're striving and get them back to you, Mr. Gracie. See what we can do with that, and hopefully, as we get more of these, we'll get better with them. And so far as the safety side of it, I'll leave that to Joe Vera when you're ready for him.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate the help. I don't know if Dave Requena would like to, zoning officer would like to say anything.
Yes, absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. So I think I want to hit a couple quick points, not to confuse anybody. So I'm going to speak mostly to the issues that I've been seeing in town. If you're erecting a tent, you want to keep that tent. If you're going to plan for a tent, you're going to have to plan on being at least 20 feet away from the building. You cannot occupy any required handicap parking spaces, and you do have to have adequate parking in the parking lot for your remaining occupant load. So if it's 25% capacity, you still have to have enough parking spaces to accommodate that capacity, as well as your handicap parking spaces. Those are basically the biggest things I've been seeing so far. There's been a little back and forth about barriers and whatnot, what constitutes a barrier. As of right now, the governor's order doesn't really specify what a barrier is. They just mention it could be rope or chain or any of those things. But, obviously that's not going to keep anybody safe. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that people are safe. So we just ask at this point that all applicants make their best effort in all cases to put up a barrier that's adequate to keep people safe. And Officer Vieira has been doing a pretty good job at that. So I don't really have anything else unless anybody has any specific questions.
Okay, I think we'll get to questions in a minute. If there are, I suspect there probably will be some. Chief Andre, did you want to say something?
Just going by Chief Ruder's points, we discussed these bullet points on the fire department access beforehand and agree on all of them. Every restaurant is a little different in their layout, so it'd be critical that we pay a site visit over there and make sure they're doing the proper plan. So that's all we have to add.
Okay, thank you very much. I was hoping Chris Michaud, our Director of Health, was going to be here. In fact, he helped. We talked about having this meeting for a while. It doesn't appear.
Mr. Gracie.
Okay, please, Chris. Thank you. Would you like to say something? Because your part is also extremely important. We all know that this pandemic is not over yet, and we're nibbling our way back to some sort of normalcy. And a lot of that is driven by your area of expertise. So please say something.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Gracie. So on the health side, there are no permits that you will need to obtain if you're already a permitted establishment, which, looking at the attendees and even some of the names that are familiar with you all. So just to kind of go through the brief requirements in terms of the physical operation, pop-up operation, the tables 6 feet apart, and the customers will need to wear face coverings when traveling to their tables. They're at their tables and, dining. Obviously, that's not a requirement. Also, just be aware that there are some people that are limited in their ability to wear a face covering. So try to be sensitive to that. There can be a variety of issues. Tables and chairs need to be cleaned after each use. Utensils should be rolled and not just placed upon the table on the typical napkin type setting. Condiments should not be preset. We encourage the use of the single service condiments. However, we realize there are some condiments, like let's say maybe malt vinegar, that are very hard to have in a single service package. So in those instances, on request and then wiped between uses. Hand sanitizer is available for guests, and Also, just keep in mind that, you know, with the 6-foot spacing, you know, that the chair, it should be between the back of the chairs, because, you know, some people will sit with chairs quite far from the table and others will be quite close. I know you're trying to get many opportunities in as possible, but those will be situations that we end up getting called out on and, you know, have to make adjustments to. So we don't want that to happen. You also need to make sure that if you're considering a tent, that there are restrictions on the sides. So the state considers outdoor dining to be outdoor. The sides are open on 50%. So if you have a big tent with drop-down sides, then you have to have 50% of that perimeter open. So if it's a rectangular tent, you have to remember that you can't close your 2 longest runs. It's got to be a length and a width, not your 2 lengths, or it could be your 2 width. The other big consideration is that if you have any, if you have an operation that's like a buffet or any type of self-service, that cannot be in place during this phase. There is no allowance for that. So self-serve, unattended, topping stations, communal serving areas, all of those must remain closed. And then also the final is your menus. Your menus will either need to be disposable, so just like printed on a piece of just regular paper that you would throw away after each table use, or of a finish and material that can be wiped down between uses. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I think we can go to some questions. I just want to reinforce to folks, though, that we really would like to see you all open. I will do my best to get you open as soon as possible. Just please understand that this is a new to all of us, so we're having a little bit of teething problems as we get through this, but we'll get there, I promise. I don't know how we take questions if somebody wants to.
I would ask them to
Frank?
raise their hand on the bottom.
Frank, can I just go over something first?
Oh.
It's Deborah.
Sure. Okay, Deborah.
Okay. So Peter, could you pull up the outdoor dining guidelines? So we just pulled this brief information together just to try to pull it all in one place. I think that's the application. It says, there we go. So there's a little summary in the beginning. And then if you scroll down, there's the overview of the submission and approval of the applications, the general guidelines after that. And then there are links to specific requirements by the state. And then also attached to this, you've seen this before, are the tent and fire department access regulations. We also have applications for outdoor dining, which will be in the select board office, and the review team had pulled that together. This will probably all go up on the website, and there's some detailed information on that. There is also an application for a temporary liquor license amendment. And I think maybe Sean would go into that a little more detail. So if you're expanding outside of where you're already permitted, this has to also be filled out. And then we have some other checklists from the state that you will see later.
Sure, yeah, just to fill in on Deb's point, the liquor license amendment, it is the ABCC form, but you do not have to submit it to the ABCC. You just need to submit it to the town with your application for outdoor seating. Once approved, we'll forward it to the ABCC so they are aware that the town had issued the liquor license amendment. This is just a temporary allowance by the ABCC as part of the governor's temporary orders that last until November. So. And also, if you have any questions on the application or either of them, feel free to contact my office and speak with Christine Amaral. She'll be able to answer all of your questions.
Great. Thank you all. Is there anybody else on the town side that would like to say anything before we take any questions? Okay, we're good. Okay, Peter, how do we know who's got the hand up?
If you go over to the attendees mode on
Yeah.
your participants, if somebody wants to click on raise hand at the bottom of the page, they can raise their hand and we'll see. So
Okay.
right now, if any attendees want to ask any questions, please press your raise hand. All right, Sean has a question.
Okay, I would only ask that you, some of them are names and not names of businesses. I would just ask that you state the name of the business. We know what you're talking about, please.
Hello, this is Sean Heston with Percy's Place on State Road.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I have we are not planning a tent, but are planning to, we've already purchased tables and umbrellas for our upper parking lot, which we can block off a portion of that parking lot with some boulders that, if you're familiar with the restaurant, you've seen those from State Road 6. So no cars can come in contact with those table areas. We're not really planning for table service, rather allowing customers to take to-go food to that area to eat on nice days.
Okay.
Is there any, it sounds like that's okay from what you all just said, but I just want to make sure that is. And number two, these applications we're talking about, are you guys planning on expediting those in the situation that we're in? Because, you know, we're all under the gun here.
Yeah, I can guarantee you pretty much 1 day turnaround from the time it gets in my hand, because
Okay.
I will generally sign it the same day unless there's an issue with it and I have to ask further questions. But if the
That's great,
application,
Frank.
if the application is complete, I promise you a very quick turnaround.
Great, awesome. We want to get open, but we don't want to open before it's financially, you know, feasible for us to do so.
Right. Now, the parking area you're talking about is up over to the right of the regular parking lot. Is that the area?
Yeah, between us and the hotel.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a huge parking lot, bluestone. You know, we were planning on blocking about half of that off with some of the boulders that border the parking lot. And at this point, not having table service, just having tables there for customers to take food to enjoy the day. Sort of like a picnic area versus a service area.
Yep. That sounds reasonable to me. Just make sure you designate all that in the application and it should fly right through.
Okay.
Mr. Kirk, if I may, on that particular application.
Sure.
Yes.
So just want to make sure that, you know, again, I'm sure the 6 feet apart with the tables.
Yeah, we have plenty of room up there, Stan, if that's who's talking.
Also, you just have to have someone constantly monitoring that, because as people will come and go and tables free up, they have to be wiped
Oh
between.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I should have said that, but of course, that would be part of our plan.
And that, you know, it really doesn't get into the guidance on the state about, you know, whether it's weighted areas or non-weighted areas where you just take your food to a particular outdoor dining spot. So you'll have to have some sort of hand sanitizer station available
Okay.
for the customers.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Okay. Thanks, Chris, for that. And Sean, anything else?
I don't think so. I do have one question about the temporary liquor license. I think Sean spoke about that. Does that mean a restaurant like ours, Sean, could get a temporary beer and wine license through November fairly easily, or did I misunderstand that?
No, this is for people that already have a liquor license inside their building, and we
Okay.
can only allow it to take place outside the building.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, who else? I see Jack Baglini. Jack, you're up.
Yep. Hi, Jack
Hi.
Baglini, New Bedford Yacht Club. From what I'm hearing, I just want to make sure, confirm, our liquor license already allows for our outside deck bar and a series of tents we have out on our back lawn for functions and events that we serve food. Our liquor license to the ABCC already includes a footprint outside already. It sounds like a lot of what we're talking about is for people that don't ordinarily serve outdoors and they're erecting these pop-up tents. I just want to ensure that it sounds as though we have things in place already that we've already been doing. I just want to make sure that there's not any new forms or regulations or permits we need to do. Maybe, I guess, having the tents reviewed to make sure they're the proper distance from the building, which they are. But for the folks that already have their liquor license in place for outdoor service, and they're already providing outdoor service for food, is there anything in addition we need to do?
Nope, you're all set. Your assumption is absolutely correct. If somebody ordinarily before the pandemic had outdoor service with liquor and food, they're all set. They actually don't have to do anything.
Okay.
This is for something, anything new and additional is what we're looking
Right. Well, great comments on all the condiments and all the other specifics as well. Very helpful.
for. Yes,
And then
Good.
menus, et cetera. Thank you.
good. Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Let's see, how about Ramadeen? You're up next. You need to be unmuted. There we go.
We have a small restaurant, so putting a tent or anything like that will be kind of impossible. So if we just want to do takeout, as we are doing right now, do we have to make any application and things like that?
If as Chris Michaud from the Board of Health was saying, if you're going to allow people to eat there on your property, if they're taking food out and leaving, then you don't have to do anything.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Thanks for your question. Anybody else have any questions? Doesn't look that way. Oh, there we go. How about Olympio? I guess that's probably Olympia Pizza.
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay.
Hi, this is Liz Olympio from Faye's Restaurant.
Yep.
Our question is about barriers. Is there any specific barrier or recommended barriers that we need to have, or is that something that we can figure out on our own?
A lot of that is in discussion. Some common sense prevails a little bit. I mean, we've all seen pictures of cars that have driven through the front of a donut store or something inadvertently. And we want to avoid people backing up into dining customers or hitting the wrong gas pedal, the wrong pedal, and rocketing forward into people. So you really need to have something that's going to provide safety for the patrons. It really depends on what each one is individual, because it depends where you're actually going to put it and how active that area of the parking lot is. So if you come up with some ideas, just put it in the plan and send it along. If I have any questions, I'll contact you.
Okay.
Great, thanks. Any other questions? Sean, you got your hand up again?
Yes, just one more question. Can you send all of us a link to the application that was referred to online so it's easy for us to find?
Mr. McGinnis?
Sure. What we'll do is we'll put a link on the homepage of our website. So if you go to the Town of Dartmouth website, there'll be a link right on the homepage.
How long is that application? Just 1 or 2 pages, Sean? Is it easy to fill out, or?
Yeah, the application for the outdoor seating is pretty straightforward. It's 3 pages, I think. The liquor license amendment application is a little longer. A lot of it is just disclaimer wording in it. But no, the outdoor seating application is really straightforward. It's a quick to fill out.
Okay, it should be easy to see once you post it. Is that it? When you go to your site?
Do it right after this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. McGinnis, and thank you, the other Sean. 2 Seans, same time. That's pretty good. Any other questions? Don't be shy. That's what we're here for. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Any more comments from any of the town folks? Everything's gone silent.
All right, can I say something?
Sure.
Stanley, thank you very much, Frank. You've done a great job pulling this together. And thank you to everyone else involved in the decision making, and to help all of our residents and and shop owners and restaurants get back into business, which is our main goal for doing this. But we do want to be careful, and we do not want to chance anything that any of the residents, while they're enjoying themselves at an outdoor dining, could be threatened by. And these are some of the suggestions that we've come up with, and rightfully so. They make sense. I know it's a little more of a delay, and I as much as you want to get going as quickly, but in due respect, I go along with Mr. Gracie's idea to be as careful as possible to protect you. So if you have any questions, you call the select board and they will help you, and to satisfy any questions you have, so you can get back into business as quickly as possible. And I know Mr. Gracie promised you he'll turn it around as soon as he's got all these papers in order and signed. He will turn it around, and Frank doesn't fool around. He'll get it done. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate the confidence.
I just would like to if we could just give a couple minutes. I know that there's one restaurant that just emailed us. They're in the process of trying to sign on, but they had a little bit of difficulty. It's a large restaurant.
Sure.
And they have an interest in, asking some questions.
Okay. We're here for them, so we'll wait. Any other comments in the meantime? I just want to point out, as I was watching the news today and the last couple of days, we have to be really careful because areas of the country that have opened up some of the requirements that we've all previously been required to do, many of them are showing increased COVID-19 cases. And that's something the town of Dartmouth would really like to avoid if at all possible, which is why this may sound like a little bit of government overkill, but it's not. It's really important that we do this correctly, and everybody comes out happy. We don't want any bad stories or sad stories from any of this. So. Anyone want to sing a song or something? Mr. McGinnis, do you sing?
Of course I sing, not well.
Oh, good. Then keep it to yourself. Any other comments?
I'll just add that, the application is pretty straightforward, but, for the applicants, if they can try to fill out the application as best they can with as much detail as possible. And if they have questions, to call our office. It just slows things down if an application is submitted that's, not complete or is lacking information, that we have to call them back, and that provides a back and forth. So any kind of legwork they can do before they submit would be helpful for everybody, including them, and getting it processed.
Yep, I would, depending on the type of question. I mean, Christine is certainly capable of handling all that. If somebody would like to email me directly with a specific question, I'm good with that too. I'm here for you. So I see Sean's got his hand up again. So Sean, all yours. You're muted though.
My comment is more of a fun nature. We hope to see you all at Percy's place. All you city officials coming out when we finally do open up.
Mm-hmm. Boy,
Amen.
Free advertisement. Can you imagine that?
Is Donna from the Board of Health in this call?
No, our Director of Public Health is Chris Michaud, and he's the one that's been speaking. He's the one under the thing that says Dartmouth Board of Health.
So, Chris, I have a question for you. We've obviously been closed since about the middle of March, and we are not going to open until the governor allows 50% occupancy, because that's when it makes financial sense for our company. Are there any special inspections that we need to be aware of?
At this time, there are no inspections that are required. What we're doing is we're doing our inspections based on our routine permitting inspections.
Uh-huh.
In some cases, reaching out to various establishments just to be proactive in some instances for those, because it's really been an incremental reopening, with the takeout, with the initial closure, and then, those that were doing the takeout, now this expanded ability, and, making sure everyone is resourced. You might have received some emails from us already, like this one here. And, any information that we get, we're posting to the website as our town website. And if there's anything that's really important that you get immediately, we're getting that out as well. If you go to the town website under our reopening, I think there is a little bit on there about just some reopening best practices for you to consider if you've been outright shut down all of this time, particularly with your water system, and that would go for any type of commercial building.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You certainly might hear from us from time to time. We are getting a lot of complaints across all of our business sectors, anything from offices to retail, hardware stores, etc. So it's not unusual to hear from us once you get opened or once you decide to open. Right now, certainly you're making a 50% personal decision. So, again, we have to follow up on complaints, and you may be hearing from us on that. It's amazing the volume of complaints that we're getting from residents about their concerns with business practices. So that's why it's like, if you can always have someone monitoring, because, you might have two people that try to pull tables together because, next thing you know, you got 7 people sitting there and it sets off, a complaint from somebody. And, you gotta keep an eye on the people because, the fatigue is setting in with these measures, but it doesn't justify these measures being relaxed.
Yeah.
We can control so that we can get businesses back open.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer.
Mr. Gracie, we did have a question through the question and answer feature, and they asked about video recording of this meeting, and that link will also be posted on the town's website. We recorded this Zoom session, so if anyone needs to share this Zoom meeting with somebody, hopefully we'll have it up by the end of the day, if not by first thing tomorrow morning.
Great. Thank you, Peter. Nice job as usual.
Selectman Gracie, I have something that I'd
No,
like to add.
Mr. Viera, Officer Viera, please.
Just when the businesses are putting their plans together, if they can please make sure the plan is concise, clear. I know with emails and scanning, sometimes we lose some of the features that we're looking for. Also, when they're considering where to place their dining area, again, we're looking at solid barricades to protect the patrons. Try not to place them where there's going to be vehicles backing, turning close to it, traveling through the parking lot. If you separate it from where your staff comes out to where the restaurant area would, the new outside restaurant area would be, vehicles traveling through the lot close to that area, lighting. Those are the things that we'll be looking at essentially when we look to put the safety plan together for them. A couple of places already have done the right thing, and they've put the barricades up, and they've done a fine job doing that. So those 5 items are something that we will look at here at the police department when we report back, just for their knowledge.
Great. Appreciate the comments. Let me just reiterate something that's already been said, and that the faster you can get the application in correctly, the faster this will be for you and turn around. Some of the better applications I've seen so far actually have included photos of where they want to have them. The diagram is one of the most important things you can have, because you know what you want to do. We don't know exactly what you want to do. So the more insight we can get into where you're going to put it and how you're going to run it, the better it's going to be. So if you don't want your application held up, please make sure it's very complete and be as accurate as possible and as complete as possible with the with whether you're drawing a diagram or whether you're including a photo. Give us all the information we have, and that can only help you in the long run. It'll help me help you. So that's what I ask. Okay, Chris, do you see the? I don't see anybody else with a hand up. Do you know who, what?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Gracie, and I also we emailed them my cell phone number, figuring that they could try giving me a call, and then we could just kind of put them on speakerphone, and no response. So, I would say at this point we will refer them to the recording of this, once it's posted. Thank you.
That's fine. I hope people are not being shy though, because I mean, we're here for you. That's why we're doing this. So if anybody has any questions, there are no stupid questions either, by the way. If anybody has any concerns or questions or comments, I'm glad to hear them. Okay, we have a hand up. Brett, you probably need my glasses changed. Brett J. Barger.
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Hi, I'm one of the managers here at TGI Fridays in North Dartmouth.
Yes.
We actually have the licensing already for indoor entertainment, and I was wondering if there was a separate application we had to do to try to bring some of the entertainment outside, or if it's just an amendment like the liquor license.
I believe you do, but I'll let Mr. McGinnis answer that.
That is a separate application, outdoor entertainment. They would have to come before the board.
Okay.
That was not allowed as a temporary approval under the governor's order.
Okay.
My guess is that would probably require a hearing right before the select board also.
Yes.
Because neighbors would have to be notified, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
One thing on the Board of Health side with that request.
Sure.
So in the guidance for restaurants with the outdoor seating from the public health side, it notes that all other amenities and areas not employed for food and beverage service must be closed or removed to prevent gatherings of customers, and it includes, as examples, dance floors, pool tables, playgrounds, etc. So, I think an outdoor entertainment as a add-on to this may not necessarily be in keeping with the safety standards.
I agree with Chris until phase 4, I suppose. So if we reach phase 4 before November, then I suppose that could come before the board.
What if somebody wanted to just have someone sitting there quietly playing guitar behind behind the patrons that are eating? Is that still in the same category?
That could be part of the approval with conditions.
Yeah.
So no dancing.
Yeah. certainly not on top of the tables.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr.
Sure. Sure, Deputy Chief, go right ahead.
The way I understand it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the liquor license for outdoor seating is different hours than indoor seating. Are you familiar with that? Do they have to shut down earlier than their regular liquor license might allow?
I think I'll let Mr. McGinnis speak to that, but I believe the whole outdoor dining hours are restricted. I believe it's like till 9 o'clock, something like that. McGinnis, please.
They're outdoor dining till 9 o'clock, closed by 10, and the same with their liquor license amendment. So it goes hand in hand with the outdoor seating.
That's a good point. I'm sure that helps someone as they're doing their planning. Anyone else? Please don't be shy. This is your opportunity. Because while there'll be a recording, you won't be able to ask questions to the recording because we won't be there in person. Okay, Brett, your turn again.
Thank you. This is just to piggyback what I was talking about earlier. I wasn't so much interested in having a live band or anything like that. It's more or less like having speakers outside due to the fact that we usually play music in the background in our dining room. So it was more just to have like the radio or something along those lines playing with a speaker of some sort. So I'm not sure if it's the same answer. I just wanted to clarify what I was asking.
Okay, good question. Mr. McGinnis?
I get what you're trying to do, but unfortunately it's the same answer. It still would be considered outdoor entertainment. It's really just to notify neighbors. I know you don't have a lot, but it's the process is the same.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and the select board would be asking you whether it's a little small radio or a boom box, those kind of questions. Okay, anybody else?
I'll just add that the information is up on the website. So the application information is all up. If you go to the town's homepage, and Peter had added it in the chat. So it's all there. And if you have any questions, you can contact the office.
Great. I can tell you no restaurant owners or managers have been harmed in the making of this movie. So please feel free to speak right up. I don't know if everybody else thinks that's as best as good as we're going to get today, or any suggestions?
No, they were good questions.
Yes, very good. I'm glad for the participation. That's what we're here for. On both sides. I appreciate all the town folks that have helped make this happen, and I appreciate the patrons, the restaurant owners and managers that are curious enough to participate. I wish everybody good luck with all this.
All right.
Peter, what do you think? That's it?
Think we're done.
Okay. I will once again then thank everyone for participating on both sides. And again, feel free to, if any questions come up in the future, feel free to call the select board office or as I said, shoot me an email or whatever is necessary. We'll get you the answer and whatever else you need. And again, if you get your applications in, you'll be surprised how quickly they get turned around. Thank you very much.